Hello. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Will you start now?
Yes, sir.
Wait for
No. I think it's 6:10. We should start. अच्छा 6:10 ହେଇଗଲାଣି ଆମେ ଷ୍ଟାର୍ଟ କରିବା।
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
Good morning to you all for being connected with the digital platform of Philosophy Family after a couple of weeks. First of all, I extend my warm greetings to all the lovers of wisdom who are connected for the first time in this academic program. On behalf of Philosophy Family, I convey my hearty welcome to all the students, teachers, and viewers who have been connected with us, who have been with us since the inception of Philosophy Family and conception and commencement of webinar series. Friends, I welcome the Armeni and convener of Philosophy Family, Professor Pramod Kumar Das, our co-Armeni, Dr. Om Narayana Rao, coordinator Dr. Patita Bhavana Das and Sri Devashish Sarangi for their untiring support and endeavor to carry on the webinar series on the course-related topics for the benefit of undergraduate students and postgraduate students of our country. Friends, the pandemic COVID has given us an opportunity to think of webinars for the noble cause of students who are deprived of getting regular academic programs. And we have been successful by conducting the webinar series for them. We are very, very privileged by the presence of eminent scholars of philosophy from different states of our country. We have been very much successful by organizing them and inviting them to Philosophy Family. We have already organized, webinar series on Indian philosophy, series on ancient Greek philosophy, European philosophy, ethics and applied ethics, philosophy on Ishopanishad, philosophy on Bhagavad Gita, philosophy on mind, and some special monthly seminars, webinars, in collaboration with the Chinmay Mission Puri and Wisdom Intellectual Forum Puri. We must offer our gratitude to the organizers and conveners of all the series. So to say, we have already completed, we have already conducted more than 80 webinars during the pandemic times. Our students and teachers have been greatly benefited by the talks and discussions made by the eminent speakers during the crucial time. The speakers have given justice to clarify all the concepts relating to their scheduled topic, scheduled subjects. Professor Pramod Kumar Das, on behalf of organizing committee, has sent the words of gratitude and appreciation to all the speakers, organizers, and members assigned to these webinars. Friends, today we are going to inaugurate another webinar series on contemporary Indian philosophy. Today, in the first session, we have with us Dr. K. Om Narayana Rao, the co-Armeni of Philosophy Family, and Dr. Patita Bhavana Das, another speaker in second session. Let me speak a few words on Dr. K. Om Narayana Rao's academic pursuits who is the speaker in the first session. Dr. K. Umnaran Rao, now who is working as Assistant Professor of Philosophy in Niranjan Government Women's College, Aska, Odisha. He is an eminent writer and young scholar of philosophy who has a great contribution for popularizing philosophy in and outside the state. Dr. Rao has already contributed 50 books on logic and philosophy, which have been very much popular among the students and teachers of philosophy. He has shown his philosophical acumen in delivering philosophical wisdom in different state and national platforms. The philosophy family has already witnessed his novel way of presentation, coordination, moderation, and discussion in different webinars. Being a teacher, having more than 20 years of teaching experience in different government colleges, his way of presentation is very much innovative in comparison to others. Today, he will deliver the inaugural speech on the significance of the study of contemporary Indian philosophy. And we have with us Mr. Debashish Sarangi, the head, Department of Philosophy, Ellen Mahavidyalaya, Jamsuli, Baleshwar, Odisha. He is with us to moderate the interactive session. He is also a promising scholar in philosophy. So to say, he is a rising scholar in philosophy family, and he is also at present pursuing his PhD degree in Banaras Hindu University. Today, Dr. Rao will explore on different salient features of contemporary Indian philosophy proclaimed by the contemporary Indian philosophers. For example, Sri Aurobindo, Mahatma Gandhi, Swami Vivekananda, Dr. S. Radhakrishnan, Tagore, Ambedkar, Krishnamurti, and others. And he will also justify its connectivity and the modification with the ancient Vedic philosophy and the spiritual values of life. Now, it's my honor to invite and welcome Dr. K. Umnaran Rao to present his inaugural address on the scheduled topic. May I now request Dr. Rao to start his speech on the scheduled topic. Over to Dr. Rao. Over to Dr. Rao.
Thank you, Kailash sir, for the nice notes. Namaskar, everybody. Respected admin, convener, and host of this webinar series, Professor Pramod Kumar Das, coordinator of today's webinar, Dr. Balash Chandra Das sir, moderator and event recording in charge, Sri Debashish Sarangi, and dear members of the philosophy family. I thank the organizing committee of philosophy family for inviting me to deliver the inaugural lecture on the nature and significance of contemporary Indian philosophy. But before looking into the nature and the features of contemporary Indian philosophy, it would be convenient for me and everyone to make a note as to what does the word contemporary actually means. Normally, contemporary, the word contemporary is taken in two different senses. Say, in the first sense, contemporary may mean the things or persons belonging to the same time or age or period. In the second sense, contemporary may mean something or some persons belonging to the present or the modern period or the modern day. We are taking contemporary here in the second sense. Now, since we will be discussing, we will be having the lecture series on contemporary Indian philosophy. Our concern will be on the contemporary Indian thinkers. We are not taking the Western counterparts to the contemporary period. we have many thinkers in the contemporary period, and I have nothing to say in detail about these thinkers, because we have special days for each of the thinkers to be discussed by different speakers. My concern here today is to find out, to speak on the ways, or say, on the nature or the features of what the contemporary philosophy has to say. You see, India has a very good tradition filled with great ideas that not only are popular in the Indian soil, but are also popular in the Western world. Now, there are various issues and concepts in the ancient Indian philosophy, and these are the issues that are again reinterpreted, rethought by the contemporary thinkers like, say, Sri Aurobindo, Rabindranath Tagore, Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, and many more. What we see is, in all these contemporary thinkers, is that they have tried to make a happy blend between the ancient ideas in the Indian philosophy with the modern ideas, so that the various concepts and issues become more and more acceptable in the contemporary period. You see, there is a lot to assert, to speak about the Indian customs, Indian traditions, Indian values in the ancient scriptures. But the contemporary thinkers have taken those ideas and have tried to reinterpret them in their own individual way, so that these ancient ideas, views, become more meaningful and purposeful. As we all know, when we talk about Indian philosophy, people think that Indian philosophy is more and more spiritual in nature, it is other world, and not world. To avoid all the contemporary thinkers, they have tried to take those age-old concepts and try to reinterpret them in a manner that they carry, that the concepts carry much meaning and significance, even in the empirical level or the empirical sense. So they have tried to make the ideas, the ancient ideas, more and more practical, more and more acceptable to the modern world. This is the chief concern for the contemporary thinkers of India. Now, in doing this, they have tried to divide the world, or they have gone with the two-world theory, dividing the world of reality into the empirical world and the transcendental world. Empirical world is the world of the ordinary experiences, and they take this empirical world as the preparatory ground or basis to elevate high in the level of consciousness to touch the level of transcendence. So they take this empirical world as much important, because that is the stage where one can have an elevation to the highest level of, or to elevate to the transcendental level. So what then is the transcendental world, or the transcendental level that these thinkers, the contemporary thinkers are speaking about? The transcendental world, they say it's a world beyond the empirical world that cannot be comprehended by the ordinary ways of knowing and thinking. In order to comprehend the transcendental world, one has to go beyond the limits of ordinary ways of knowing, thinking, and understanding. So, with this review in mind, so let us look into the different aspects of the contemporary Indian philosophy. Now, as I said, the attempts that were made by the contemporary Indian thinkers was to take the rich ideas of the past and make a happy conciliation with the modern ideas, such that there is a happy synthesis of tradition and modernity. And we have seen that this blend of tradition and modernity in the contemporary writings of, say, C. Aurobindo, Mahatma Gandhi, Rabindranath Tagore, and many others. What we see is the evolution of various concepts, principles, issues, ideas, morals in a more refined way, much useful for expanding our horizon of knowledge. So, with this, let me go point by point as to what the contemporary Indian philosophy has in store to assess. Now, the contemporary philosophy tries to show the way out of suffering. You see, the writings in the Indian philosophy, in the ancient Indian philosophy, contain that the world is filled with a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, and every creature is subject to suffering in some way or the other. Now, the contemporary writers, they what they do is they try to find out the way out of the suffering that the people were subjected to. Okay, no doubt. The contemporary thinkers uphold the ancient views, but they take the ancient views in a bit different manner. The contemporary thinkers, they say that life on earth is significant, meaningful, and also has a definite sense and purpose. And they say that all the action on our part, say resulting in either pleasure or pain, happiness or sorrow, they're all directed towards the realization of the spiritual goal. They further say that the material life to which we are subjected to is not complete in itself. There are various deficiencies in our material life, and it is because of these deficiencies in our material life that we experience various pleasures, various pains and suffer. Now, they say the suffering too, the pain too, they carry certain meaning. Now, the contemporary thinkers make a conscious effort to be free from the suffering, and rather than getting attached to this pain and suffering. This effort, they say, elevates man to a higher level of consciousness. They say more man tries to elevate higher and higher, the more conscious he becomes. The more he becomes conscious of his nature, the more he gets free from the various external influences that give rise to various sorts of pain, suffering. Okay, now this freedom from pain and suffering ultimately paves a path for spiritual progress. This is the first thing they say. The second thing, the contemporary writers they say that they are told that the world is real. In traditional Indian philosophy, especially in Advaita Vedanta, what we see that the world is a product of Maya. It is the product of illusion. It is unreal. But the contemporary thinkers, they deny this view. They are told the world is real. That's why they refute or they reject, more or less, the view of Shankaracharya or the Mayavada of Shankaracharya, wherein it is asserted the world is an illusion. The ultimate analysis, the world is unreal. Brahman alone is real. Advaita Vedanta speaks of. But the contemporary writers, they say no, the world is also real, and what serves as a preparatory ground to elevate high in the level of to elevate high to say to the transcendental world or say to the spiritual world. But the world is there and it is as much real as the spiritual world. This is the second thing that they say. And they again say this world is a state or is a stage for perfection of our own individual selves. They say the world is not full, it's not evil. The world is not filled with, say, only pain. They say the world is a stage to attain perfection through selfless service, through a feeling of, say, friendliness, brotherhood, and more importantly, having a humanistic touch. The contemporary thinkers, they recommend that our body, our senses, and the mind, they are not to be negated. Rather, these are to be perfected. I mean, the body, mind, and the senses are to be perfected and not negated. This perfection in the body, mind, and the senses helping the total control over one's own self. And this helps man to attain perfection and think of people around, to serve the people around. So that's how the contemporary thinkers think this world is as much real as the other world or any other world or the transcendental world. The empirical world is real because it is here where we have a great role to play. So that's how the contemporary thinkers differ in a sense from the ancient line of thinking. The contemporary thinkers even consider the body as real. And I said, as just now I said, even the body is to be perfected. In Advaita Vedanta, we see Brahman alone is real. Now, but the contemporary thinkers, they assert that recognizing the reality of the body, the senses, and the mind is very important, and they have to be considered as real, and it is only then we can perfect them. If we think them as illusory, as we think them as unreal, then there is no issue of, say, perfecting them. So the contemporary thinkers, by taking the body, senses, and the mind as real and not negating them, they say they have to be perfected, and they say that they together, body, mind, and the senses, they together constitute a vehicle for moral and spiritual progress. This is one. The contemporary thinkers, we can see in them that they carry a synthetic viewpoint. Now the contemporary Indian thinkers, you see, they have in them the wisdom of the East and the scientific knowledge of the West. But what we see in them is they are not satisfied with the Western views, and they are not even fully convinced with the Eastern ideas. That's why the contemporary Indian thinkers, they make a reconciliation between the Eastern philosophy and the Western thought, and they try to give a new dimension to the entire thought structure. We can find in them, the contemporary writers, we can find in them a blend of idealism, realism, pragmatism, and more importantly, humanism. Now, here a question may arise. What about the age-old issues that we have in Indian philosophy? How do these contemporary thinkers take these issues? Now you see, in Indian philosophy, we have various important concepts like, say, the concepts of, say, karma, rebirth, immortality, soul, liberation, thought, etc. Now, the contemporary thinkers too take these issues and the various problems associated with them, but they take these issues in a new light. They believe that these concepts and the issues related with them are never ending, they are continuous, they will be changing. The age-old problems are addressed even today. But the thing is, the dimension and our thought pattern, our belief pattern has changed. That's why these issues are to be taken, but not as the ancient thinkers have given to us, but they have to be reinterpreted, rethought, and viewed from various angles, shades, and perspectives, so that we can address these issues not in an abstract and unrealistic manner, but in a more realistic and pragmatic manner, by taking into account the actual life situation. Now take for instance the doctrine of karma, the ideal of karma that we have in ancient Indian philosophy. Now these contemporary thinkers, what they do is what they say that the realization, the realization of the ideal of karma in Nishkama Bhava will help one to be liberated from the cycle of birth and rebirth, and experience a feeling of immortality while in life. What I mean to say is, the contemporary thinkers, they believe that liberation is possible while in life through our acts of selfless service, ethical behavior, intuitive insight, deep contemplation, which in every step would help to free us from all sorts of attachments and bondages, and also at the same time would help us to dedicate our lives in the service and upliftment of others. Now again, the contemporary thinkers, they reconcile theism and absolutism. You see, from a theistic point, we see that God is personal, omnipotent, omniscient, benevolent. We see him as the creator, sustainer, and destroyer of this world. And we see him as immanent in the world. From absolutist standpoint, we see the supreme reality as impersonal, transcendental, is pure consciousness, pure bliss, etc. Now, the contemporary thinkers, they don't take any of the sides. They neither support theism nor they support absolutism in a strict sense. They take a mid path and they put forth the supreme reality as both personal and impersonal, immanent and transcendental, static and dynamic. They also say the supreme reality may be again saguna from one standpoint and nirguna from other standpoint. So this is how they make it reconciliation. And in making this reconciliation, what we see is that these contemporary thinkers, they advocate a sort of monism. We can see the thread of monism in the entire scheme of things in the contemporary Indian writings. Each of the thinkers express a monistic viewpoint from their own individual conceptions and belief patterns, or say their own individual ways. As I said, the contemporary thinkers take the world as real, the individual jivas as real, yet the contemporary thinkers take them to be a part and parcel of the supreme reality or the absolute. While putting forth a monistic philosophy, the contemporary thinkers go against the dualism between, say, matter and spirit. Even matter is seen as an expression of the spirit. Sri Aurobindo, say for instance, puts forth matter is Brahman. For him, matter is the lowest manifestation of Brahman. He says the distinction between matter and spirit is only apparent. Okay, the world of matter, he says, the world of matter, though real, yet it is an expression of the spirit. The world of matter has no existence apart from the Supreme Spirit or the Brahman. We see the world in the multiplicity of forms. We see a manyness in the world. But still, in the manifold world, there is a spiritual thread that is going through all. And this spiritual thread connects all things and establishes a sort of unity. And these contemporary thinkers are committed to see such a unity down and put forth an integral nature of reality by taking the Supreme Spirit as the basis, as inherent in the world of multiple forms and things. The contemporary thinkers again are much concerned about the dignity of human beings. They say that human beings have the knowledge of what is good, what is bad. Having said so, they say no human being is purely good or bad. Every human being is a mixture of both goodness and evil. And they say it is only in the human form that there is scope for betterment of oneself through good deeds or actions. The actions, they say, are said to be good if they aim at the welfare and betterment of the people at large. And they take that it is the moral responsibility of all human beings to work for the well-being of all. That is, the contemporary thinkers are committed to humanism. They are more or less humanists. They are much concerned about the worldly life, the problems therein, and they focus on the well-being of one and all. They give importance to social service, righteousness in thought, speech, and action. One can find the influence of Bhagavad Gita in the contemporary writings, who take the ideas of Nishkama Karma, righteousness, Jnana, Prapatti, etc., which clearly reflect the humanistic tendencies. They also take forward the rich value system that Indian philosophy has. They try to re-establish it in a new format. They are much conscious of the scientific development in the Western world and also the rich tradition that we have. And as I say, they are humanistic in their nature. Now, these thinkers were taking the ancient ideas, they make a blend again between spiritualism and humanism. This being so, you can find in them that they are very liberal and dynamic. They are not rigid to anything. Rather, they are open to diverse viewpoints, diverse opinions and ideas. They don't have a closed pattern. Rather, they have an open system where there is a scope for different ideas to flow in and be operated together so that something new, something novel come out from the different ideas. They are not blocking any idea. They are incorporating every idea in a manner that the different ideas, they become mutually supportive to give rise to some new thoughts and ideas. We can see in them that they are opposed to sectarianism and they advocate cultless, non-sacrificial, non-sectarian, non-ritualistic religion that is open to all without any discrimination on the grounds of caste, creed, color and sex, in order to restore righteousness, justice and ensure general human well-being and freedom. You see, these contemporary thinkers, they are much aware that man as a whole feels that he is not free. But if one makes a deeper reflection into himself, he'll find that he is inherently free. But because of the ignorance leading to finding of various barricades, obstacles, man finds and feels that he is not free. But truly speaking, that we see in, as we see in Sankhya, they say the Purusa is always free. But because of ignorance, that he feels himself to be unfree or bound. In the same way, the contemporary thinkers say that man in his true nature is free. But because of his ignorance, he finds problems all around, and because of these problems, he feels the pain. Now, they say with the expansion of understanding and the true realization of one's own self and reflecting on the problems and issues, the contemporary thinkers say that one can experience that there is freedom all around, and freedom lies in simplicity. We unnecessarily are making our life complicated and bringing out problems for ourselves. They say the problem lies in making ourselves feeling complicated, making things complicated when the things are really simple. And this requires a realization. Once there is a realization, there is a total freedom. And they say this freedom requires clarity in thought, speech, and action. So, now, see, the contemporary thinkers again are much concerned about the various issues and concepts in Indian philosophy that have a varying implication as one moves from system to system. Say, for example, the concept of self is discussed in different ways if we touch two different systems in Indian philosophy. So, people are more or less unclear and they are on a confused ground as to how to take the concept, say the concept of self or say God or any other concept, because of the diverse opinions in different systems of Indian philosophy. So the contemporary thinkers are aware of this. They take the issues found in the Indian philosophy, they take the issues touching each of the system and try to put these concepts in a manner that the richness of each of the system is protected, and a balanced view is put forth before the readers. So that this was an attempt, a conscious attempt by the contemporary thinkers to put the concepts with much clarity, with much precision, and also to present in a manner that the diverse opinions that we have in Indian philosophy because of the various systems are put in a manner that they can be taken, they can be understood, they can be interpreted in a much clear manner. The contemporary thinkers again, they see philosophy as a way of life. They take philosophy as a discipline that would help to look into various issues, problems, and understand those problems to come out with certain solutions so that human beings can lead a happy and satisfied life. Instead of mere speculation or abstraction or theoretization, they set philosophy in a much practical mode and address more to issues in a manner that they have a bearing on our lives. They carry a practical implication on our lives. You see, they take even the age-old metaphysical concepts and try to give a new shape and direction to be understood and realized in a manner they influence our lives. Take for instance, the concept of moksha or liberation. Is taken by the contemporary thinkers to have not an otherworldly implication, but a worldly implication. They assert that on attaining liberation, that one can say, they say one can attain liberation while in life or jivan mukti through selfless service to others. They say being liberated, they can work in the service of others, also bring about a refinement in mankind to also take mankind to a new height and set the entire human world in the path of wisdom and truth. Now, the contemporary thinkers take philosophy as a technique in life to get rid of all sorts of problems, troubles, ambiguities, barricades that we face in our life and experience inner peace and happiness. They again say,
Sir, can you go for conclusion?
yes,
Conclude.
I will take another 5 minutes to conclude. It is 7 o'clock now. At 7:05 I will be concluded. Okay? Is it okay? Is it
Thanks,
okay?
sir. Thanks, sir. Thanks.
Now, the contemporary thinkers, they take philosophy or philosophical activity as a continuous process. They say that in philosophy, nothing is final and binding. There is no fixed goal. One goal may give rise to another goal. That is, there is always a goal to reach or achieve. This keeps the philosophical enterprise active and involved. That is, there is never a complete satisfaction. And thus, there always remains an aspiration for more and more, to elevate higher and higher. So this aspiration for the contemporary thinkers takes one to the level of consciousness, or say this would lead one to aspire for the supreme reality who is beyond the limits of the ordinary ways of knowing and understanding. So, a realization to this effect is the highest challenge before mankind and we all, by taking the inspiration, the suggestion by the contemporary thinkers to try to give the fullest expression to the sayings of the contemporary Indian thinkers. Just 3-4 minutes I will be taking. So this is all about the features of the contemporary Indian philosophy. Now, we have various contemporary thinkers that we have in our undergraduate course. We have R.N. Tagore, Aurobindo, Radhakrishnan, Mahatma Gandhi. So these B.R. Ambedkar, these thinkers will be taken individually later on. But in a line, I will be trying to put each of these thinkers in a line or two. If we look into the philosophy of Rabindranath Tagore, we find that he tries to find out an essential unity of all creation. He believes in an unchanging, absolute, eternal being or the whole soul who forms the essence of everything out there in the world. If we look into Sri Aurobindo, we find that his emphasis was on the evolution of human life into a divine life. He believed that spiritual realization not only liberates but also enables man to lead a divine life. That will be discussed in the later part of the day. Now, if you look at Sri Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, his main purpose was to defend the ideas contained in Hinduism, especially the ideas contained in Advaita Vedanta. He tried to show that Hinduism is philosophically coherent and ethically viable. If we look into Gandhiji, we find that he takes truth and non-violence as the two pillars for establishing a peaceful and just society. He takes non-violence as the means for the establishment of truth. He says, truth is God. Wherever there is truth, there is God. If we look at Swami Vivekananda, he is an India-centric, we find in him an India-centric global vision. He is known for his practical Vedanta. He tried to find out a unity in all religions. If we reflect on B.R. Ambedkar, we see that he is the great architect, the chief architect of the Indian Constitution. He fought for the rights of the oppressed.
Hello.
He was against the Varna and caste distinction. He was a great human.
Hello.
We'll be discussing this in the later session. If we go to Jiddu Krishnamurti, we find in him that he says that life itself is God, and every action that we carry on is manifested itself with God. And one more thing, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, though we don't have enough in our course, but many universities in India, they have taken Abdul Kalam as the contemporary Indian thinker. Just one more minute to conclude. If we go to the writings of Abdul Kalam, we find that he laid a lot of emphasis on humanism, moral reconstruction, mental reasoning, positive thinking, and more importantly, he was much concerned for creating an awareness for the development of intelligence among the young generation to be prepared for the challenges of the future. To conclude, let me tell the 5 statements that APJ Abdul Kalam has said for life. It is important for everybody in whatever stage he is, he or she is. And there are 5 important statements for life. The first statement to be carried on is, I am the best. Whatever activity that you are given with, always take a feeling that you are the best. Then the second statement that he gives for life is, I can do it. How difficult it may be, always carry a feeling that I can do it, that you can do. If somebody can do, why I can't do? That should be the thing, the second statement. The third statement he says is, always believe in God. That he says, God is always with you. So trust God and carry on your duties. The fourth statement he says, I am a winner. Always carry a winning spirit in you. Winning spirit doesn't mean that you will not lose anywhere. No, that's not the thing he's saying. Always try to carry a winning spirit in you. That is the fourth statement that he gives for life. And he says, the last statement that he determines is, today is my day. There is no tomorrow for anything. Whatever good that you want to do it today, complete it today. So today is the day. The best time for you is today, not tomorrow. Thank you everybody for giving me this opportunity to speak to you. Thanks everybody. Thanks everyone in the philosophy family for listening to me. Thank you all, thank you everybody. Thank you all.
Okay, thanks so much, Dr. Rao, for your clear exposition on the understanding of contemporary Indian philosophy. And you have given justice to the views on reflecting upon the individual and common features of contemporary Indian philosophers. And you have clarified all the concepts of the contemporary Indian philosophers and their common features. And you have also shown how search for reality is a common feature of Indian thinkers, contemporary Indian thinkers. And you have also shown how they have looked upon liberation for all human beings, and how they have reflected on unity in diversity. And unity in diversity is an influence of ancient Indian tradition. And you have given justice through your exposition by saying how they are reflecting upon be thyself and know thyself, which is also another ancient Indian values. And you have also shown how they have a common feature like idealistic spirituality, and where you have given importance to matter, life and mind. And you have also shown the spiritual goal of life as proclaimed by the contemporary Indian philosophers, and values of diversity, truth and non-violence, truth as God. And you have ended with the philosophy of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, and you have reflected upon the philosophy of humanism, moral reconstruction, and intelligence. Thanks so much for your nice exposition, clarification on the contemporary Indian philosophers by showing their common features and specific ideologies. Thanks so much. Now it's time to invite and welcome Mr. Debashis Farangi, the moderator of today's session, to carry on the session with questions by inviting questions and answers.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Good evening to all. Hello, Rao sir. Is it audible? Hello.
Audible.
Okay, sir. So, Pragya Daskanun go, ma'am, wants to know, like Kant, is there any thinker in traditional or contemporary Indian tradition who makes a distinction between transcendent and transcendental?
Yes.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, sir. Rao sir, is it audible?
Yes, you are audible. You are audible now. You are audible.
Yes, sir. Pragya Daskanungo ma'am wants to know that, like Kant, is there any thinker in traditional or contemporary Indian tradition who makes a distinction between transcendent and transcendental?
A distinction between transcendent and
Transcendental, yeah.
Oh. Now you see, as my knowledge goes, transcendent means something surpassing the usual limits, okay, the normal limits. And transcendental is concerned with, say, something that is, when you say transcendental, it is something which is intuitive or which is a prior. Okay, so that sort of distinction that we see in Kant, well, his ideas, well, they are found even in Indian philosophy. His ideas are, though the expressions are different, but his ideas are very well contained in Indian philosophy. Because when you talk of the transcendental world as the world beyond experience, even the Indian thinkers say even Advaita Vedanta, we have a distinction between the empirical and the transcendental world. Now, the problem here is, when you say transcendent means something surpassing the ordinary ways of knowing, the ordinary limits. And transcendental means something which is a priori. Well, a sort of distinction, I'm not that sure whether it is being made or not, but one sort of distinction that we make is we have in the contemporary writings, we make the empirical basis as the ground for the application of the transcendental. So in this transit from the empirical to the otherworldly or the transcendental world, there is, of course, a surpassing of something that is within the limits of knowledge to something beyond the limits or the ordinary ways of knowing and understanding. Say, acts of deep insight, deep contemplation, meditation. So these all takes one from the ordinary limits to ordinary ways of understanding or knowing to a higher level, where we can see some sort of distinction, say, even in Indian thought and philosophy.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Then the next question is from Rinki Mahalik. She wants to know, if contemporary Indian philosopher neither supports theism and atheism, so which theory they support? Is anything exist beyond theism and atheism?
No. You see, as I said, contemporary Indian thinkers are open to diverse views and opinions. They don't discard any view. Like in Jainism, we see is open to various views, viewpoints, standpoints. So here too the contemporary thinkers maybe